Good evening, everyone.
Your mic is not on.
Thank you. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk of the board, kindly call the roll.
Freeholder Carter.
Present.
Freeholder Estrada.
Present.
Freeholder Hudak. Freeholder Jallo. Freeholder Kowalski.
Here.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Here.
Freeholder Wright.
Present.
Vice Chairman Granados.
Here.
And Chairman Bergen.
Here.
Chairman, you have 7 freeholders present.
Thank you. Clerk of the board, kindly lead us in prayer and salute to the flag.
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk of the board, please read the notice of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
The chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of New Jersey statutes annotated Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2016, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances, to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2016 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2016 with the Office of the County Clerk.
Thank you. We have several presentations tonight. We're first going to start with presentations of our second annual library grants, and for that I'm going to call up Vice Chairman Granados and Freeholder Kowalski to please make those presentations.
Thank you, Chairman, Vice Chair. Thanks for joining me. This is the second year that we are providing some support to libraries. It's administrated by our Open Space Trust Fund. However, it is not funded through tax dollars. It's funded through golf fees. So that's kind of a nice balance, you know, people who go out and get some fresh air and also support libraries. I note that the librarians here are keepers of the word for all of us here in Union County. You watch over our materials, for our educational materials. You make sure that there is access to knowledge for everyone who wants it here in Union County. That's why when we spoke about what we could do for libraries this year, Freeholder Chairman Bergen immediately agreed that we would provide increased funding this year over what we did last year, and we got, of course, unanimous approval for that. So without any more ado, Vice Chair, do you want to say anything?
Well, this is definitely, that's been something pushed by Freeholder Kowalski in making sure that libraries get the funding they need. Because when you go to a library, you're not only benefiting the youth, but you're also benefiting senior citizens and everyone in between. It's definitely a great resource where children, adults can go there and further their education and further within their community meet other individuals. So it's definitely great work you're doing for Freeholder Kowalski and making sure this grant got upped in dollars this year. So thank you.
Vice Chair. And so it's for projects and materials for children, and this is goes from equipment like 3D copiers to support for programming with storytelling to artistic programs. What I would like to do is call up the librarians from each town or city, and we'll take a picture, and we can graciously acknowledge our council people who are from that municipality who might want to join us. And so we'll just go alphabetically by town, and you know that you can't actually take these big things to the bank, but the head of our library consortium, Ms. Jean Marie Ryan, can work with us on the rest of the details. So let me call up Berkeley Heights Public Library for $7,250. And if you would like to say something about what we have projected behind us. I mean, we're really organized tonight. At least, there we go. That says the amount and what's here, but if you would like to add a word.
Okay, I invite you to come play with our Cublets, our Zubomatron, and Code Avengers is for little people to learn how to code. I'm on lesson 2, and it's only taken me 2 weeks. They've already finished, probably, but thank you very much.
Thank you. And so, if you'll just stand here with Freeholder or Vice Chairman.
It's a big check, Freeholder. She might need some help. It's a big old check.
Next, we have the Clark Public Library. I think Dawn Jenkins is coming up. And
I'm Eileen Smith.
okay, Eileen Smith, Children's Librarian, and that is $7,500. And Dawn, do you want to tell us about that?
I just want to first of all acknowledge all of our staff. The directors and trustees often get to take the accolades, but it's actually people like Eileen, our actual librarians on the floor, who do the amazing work that makes these grants possible and services possible for our patrons. And I know I'm most excited about the Adobe Creative Commons, making that available to mostly to our teenagers, and the full Adobe suite's going to be available for public use at Clark Library. So. Thank you. Thank you all.
And now we have Cranford Public Library. Would you please tell us your names?
Arlene McCluskey, Board of Trustees.
Elizabeth Ferry, Teen Librarian.
Judy Clemorth, Assistant Director.
Thank you. And we're going to ask you to sit here in the middle. Elizabeth Public Library. We have our library director, Mary Faith Shield, and
Ed Friedman, Board of Trustees.
Okay, all right.
Thanks to the freeholders, we've really had a fantastic summer for our children. We've had kangaroos in the library. We've had monkeys in the library. Houdini paid us a visit. We've had reptiles of all kinds. We had an alligator, and we had lots of other creepy crawly things that the kids really enjoy. And this was to bring awareness of what the library has to offer to the kids, to get them involved in our summer reading program, and to make them see that the library is a fun place to be. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And for Fanwood Memorial Library, $7,498. And stand by. Freeholder Mirabella couldn't be here, but. Oh, there you are.
How'd you miss me?
Freeholder, I didn't see you. All right.
How'd you miss me?
You can say something.
I'm coming with you fast.
Yes, I'd like to add my voice to the choir and thank the freeholders for investing in supporting libraries in Union County. Can't go wrong. Fanwood is, this is going to underwrite a storytelling festival for kids, some robotics programs for teenagers, and other materials, and especially our new book bike. We thought we'd try something different. It's kind of like a poor man's or a small town's bookmobile. A library on wheels that we can take the library out into the community. So we're excited about that. Thank you.
I realized that I didn't ask the Cranford librarian what projects they're doing. So excuse me, my Roselle counsel.
Okay, sure. We're going to get a charging station for our iPads to add to programming for the children, and other materials for scientific programs for them as well.
The money that went toward the team program is going to bring in some speakers. We have a game designer who's going to teach the kids about both designing and marketing games. We had an instructor come in for some STEM courses. The children's librarian, Lauren, did. Yeah. She was unable to join us, but she's done some wonderful stuff.
And now we call up the Garwood Free Public Library, $7,500. Do you want to have someone else join you? Oh, okay. Our library director.
Yes, I'm the library director, and thank you so much for this award. And we're going to use it, put it to good use. We're getting 3 new computers. Tutor.com, which offers one-on-one tutoring to all Garwood library card holders over the internet. And we have a bunch of STEM programming for children. So thank you so much.
And for our Hillside Free Public Library, $7,500. So our Hillside librarian, and if Councilman Kobitz could join us. There you are. Okay. I will put you in the middle. And would you tell us what the funding's going to be for?
I'm Cassandra Miller, the director of Hillside Public Library, and we're getting new computers. It's for technology. So we're going to have an iPad station, new computers, and a children's ebook database.
the microphone. Thank you, Michael. And would you like to tell us a little bit about
Absolutely. Thank you again, as we've all been saying. Support for the libraries directly supports the youth of Union County, and our program is designed to transform the library into a space where children can have hands-on opportunities to learn about technology, engineering, and the visual arts. And hopefully we'll be transforming today's youth into tomorrow's leaders. Thank you. And Michael Mazuki.
the Linden Free Public Library? I see we have Director Dennis Purvis here. And are you our children's librarian?
Ginger Moore.
Tell us.
Thank you for this. We have a request for a 3D printer for quite a while, and we're finally going to get it. We're all going to have a lot of fun with it, including me. And Ginger will be using it for her programs, too, when I'm not.
Next, we have Mountainside Public Library, $7,500. Okay. Congratulations. Thank you. And please tell us your names. What you're going to do with the funding.
Lynn Favreau, I'm the library director. Nancy Caffrey, Board of Trustees, Vice President. And we'd like to thank the Freeholders. This is an amazing investment in the young people in our community, which is an investment in the whole community. And we're just so thrilled to be able to focus this year on early literacy initiatives, baby books, 1,000 books before kindergarten, STEM and STEAM learning for our youngest children, including a makerspace specially designed for our very young patrons, and some bilingual books for our collection to foster an increased interest in bilingualism. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Nancy. And we have our, this way, can we move? Oh, and County Manager and Mountainside resident, Mr. Alfayel is joining us. And next is New Providence Memorial Library, $7,467. Tell us your names and what we're going to see at New Providence.
Thank you so much. I'm Colleen Byrne, the director of New Providence. This is Carrie Sullivan, the children's librarian. We thank the Freeholders so much, not only for the financial support, but for the moral support, for the support that makes us feel like we're doing a good job and that we're giving back to the communities with this money and with all the funding that we have and all the energy that we put into it. And I'll let Carrie tell you a little bit about what we're going to be doing.
So we're going to get a train table and start a Things That Go collection. That's going to have like planes and trains and automobiles. We're going to get a brand new Lego Duplo table. We're going to bring in some programs as well. I think we're going to get a magician. So we have a lot of fun, exciting stuff to, teach kids that the library is fun and learning is fun too. So thank you.
Next is the Plainfield Free Public Library, $7,764. Okay. Yes, and Freeholder Linda Carter is going to join us for this. Thank you.
I'm Mary Ellen Rogan, the director of the Plainfield Library, and this is my assistant director, Tina Marie Duty. And we really want to thank the freeholders for all their support, both financial and moral. And we have great plans for this money. We are going to start a museum program for the kids, which is something we've been wishing and hoping to do for many years now. And we are going to buy a fully stocked maker's cart for STEAM and STEM programming both for the children and the YA program. Thank you again very much.
And the Rawway Public Library, $7,540. So would you tell us your names and where the money's going to go?
Sure. My name is Liz Hoens, and this is Eric Miles, our board president. I'm the children's librarian. We just wanted to thank you so much for our grant last year. We used it for instruments for babies and toddlers, and we use them every week, and they've been amazing. And this year, we're doing a program called Fall into STEAM. So we're using science, technology, engineering, art, and math to have a whole slate of programs throughout the fall. Robotics, astronomy, science, and we're just gonna keep making sure that our kids are exposed to these things in the library and outside of school, and they're just increasing what they learn in school at the library. So thank you so much.
So we have the pleasure of welcoming several of our elected officials from Roselle to join the Roselle Free Public Library to accept $7,500. And I see Assemblyman Jamel Holly was actually, oh, there you are. Come up, Assemblyman. And of course, we have Council President Kim Shaw and also Carla Walker, Sam Bishop, and Reginald Atkins, and Roselle Board of Ed Commissioners. So, and of course, our Luck President and Board of Trustees. Wow. Welcome, Roselle. Okay.
That's it. How it should be.
Okay. I am going to let the Assemblyman speak to us and then hand it over to our librarian.
Thank you so much. Let's give it up for the Freeholder Board for this. And we certainly do appreciate everything that they do for us here. And as you can see, when Roselle gets money, we show out. We barely get funds, and every little dollar helps us. And so we just wanted to just be here to just say thank you to the Freeholder Board, to the entire administration, and to our library board and library director, Jean Ryan, who's going to just say a few words. But it's just so refreshing to have to receive this type of award where it doesn't really come from tax dollars. It comes from golf fees. And that's a good thing. And he's a golfer, the councilman here. But when you you got to be creative like that these days to try to help fund certain projects. And so this is just amazing, and we just truly appreciate the Freeholder Board for thinking outside of the box and the administration for $7,500 that is so well deserved for our community. I do have all the elected officials. It'll take about an hour to get through all of them, but we have our elected officials from our school board here and also our council and administration. So Jean, thank you so much for all the wonderful hard work that you do in Roselle. We often don't get a chance to say it publicly, but now is the time, and as you can see, she's proudly holding this nice check tightly. Jean Ryan.
I'd like to thank Assemblyman Holly, who is a great, great supporter of libraries, and it is a pleasure to have an elected official who supports us so greatly. He has a bill in the Assembly right now that's a construction bond bill, so I can't thank him enough. I need to thank the Board of Chosen Freeholders. I'm torn between doing it by protocol, which would be Freeholder Chair Bergen and Freeholder Kowalski, who is also such a staunch supporter of libraries. And I thank the town council members who are here, the borough council, the school board, department heads, the staff, whom I can never do anything without, pretty much including opening the doors in the morning. So thank you all so very much for this. And this is going to our 1,000 Books for Before Kindergarten program, which is aimed towards early childhood literacy. Thank you.
Good to see everybody.
You following me around, or am I following you around? See you, baby.
Hi, how are you? Good to see you. How are you?
Hi, how are you? Good.
Next, we have Roselle Park Veterans Memorial Library, $7,495. Roselle Park. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves.
Well, first of all, that's a tough act to follow. I don't think that's fair. Kit Rubino, Interim Library Director.
This is Cass Rohde. Kimberly Powers, Board of Trustees.
Jeff Regan, Board of Trustees.
Thank you to the Freeholders for this wonderful opportunity. What we're going to do is try and upgrade our young adult section with some nice furniture, and finally a room divider for when those little ones watch those movies that are really loud. We'll be able to close it off so the others can study. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Scotch Plains Public Library, $7,450, and I will ask Freeholder Mirabella to join us on this one. Let you introduce everyone.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Michelle Willis. I'm the director of the library. This is Pamela Brooks, our head of adult and teen services, and Lenora Malillo, head of children's services. So we're using our award this year to continue some of the programming we did with the money we had last year, but we've added some art, so we're STEAM instead of STEM. We have some after-school programs. We have STEM kits to go home so children can continue their learning experience with their caregivers. And we have art things because we just love art. So that's what we're doing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll ask Chairman Bergen to join us for Springfield Public Library, and that's $7,503. So we have Library Director Spindell, and I'll let you introduce the rest of your folks here.
Okay. I'm Dale Spindell, the director. Last year, we used our grant money for programming. This year, we're using our grant money to get a Duplo table and Duplo blocks for the little kids to come in and play. But what we're also focusing on this year is keeping our children's room an inviting place for parents to come with their children. We happen to have 3 foam rubber love seats, which are very well loved, very popular. They're also starting to look very well loved, and the problem is we can't replace them. They're literally irreplaceable. So we are going to be devoting money to having them refurbished and reupholstered so they can continue to be well loved and well used by children in Springfield and their parents. So, and I have with me, I'm sorry, I have Library Board Secretary Cheryl Molman and another board member, Shelley Stangler. And I want to thank the freeholders.
And next we have the Summit Free Public Library, $7,500. Welcome. I'm going to hand you the microphone to introduce people.
I'm Susan Permahouse. I'm the library director. I have with me 2 trustees, Christina Amundson and Ruth Hammond, and our children's librarian, Natalie Petikowski. Close, close. We do want to thank the freeholders very much for this opportunity. We have a very active after-school program. We have about 40 to 50 middle school children who come every single day, and we'll be using our funds to buy some new video games for them for their after-school activities. We've also just renovated our children's room, and we've created a beautiful child-friendly space, and we're going to be purchasing computers, all-in-one computers, for the preschoolers to use in that space. We thank the freeholders very much for this. It really will help us complete our renovation. Thank you.
I'll ask Freeholder Wright to join us for the presentation to Union Free Public Library for $7,764.
Hello. I'm Karen O'Malley. I'm the library director of Union Public Library. And with these funds, thank you, by the way. With these funds, we're going to begin a creation of a brand new computer lab for our children's room. Thank you. This is
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sally Strauss. I'm Vice President of the Union Public Library Board of Trustees. And we would like to reciprocate for a moment. A few of our young visitors would like to say thank you for this generous grant. They're pictured here, as well as a few familiar faces. So we would like to thank our freeholders.
And last but not least, Westfield Memorial Library, $7,437.
Nah, we left one for you.
I'll give you the microphone.
Hi, I'm Phil Israel. I'm the director of the Westfield Memorial Library, and I'm here with Adrian Basso, who's our youth services librarian. We're going to be using our, I want to thank the freeholders, as all of my colleagues have thanked them. This is, if you work in libraries, it doesn't get much better than this kind of evening. Not just the award of the grants, but also just the support that we're receiving, which is really appreciated. We're going to be using our grant to expand our early literacy materials through technology, starting, as some of the other libraries have, with a crayon-shaped kiosk that holds iPads for the little ones, along with online materials, so we can expand the scope of the library outside the walls. So the materials 24/7.
So once again, thanks to all of the librarians and the trustees and our elected officials who have joined us, and to my colleagues. We know you're going to use this funding well, and we'll see you next time. Okay, thank you. And shout out.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Chairman.
Before we move on, I just wanted to say two brief things. One, how wonderful it is to see all of the appreciation for what we're doing here. But to me, listening to what's being done with this money, it is amazing the breadth of different kinds of uses, but more importantly to me, how much is being bought by the libraries with this money. Obviously, they're very good at stretching their dollars, and so it's wonderful to see what a great impact this money is going to have all across the county. So thank you all for joining us.
Good job.
Also, thanks to our open space staff who, they always tell me that the librarians are the easiest people to work with, but it is a little bit of administration to get this done. So, of course, Vicki Durbin-Drake, Edith Mary, and Judy Biniaris, thanks to all of you.
Now for our next presentation, I'd like to call upon Freeholder Vernell Wright, who is our very able representative to the New Jersey Association of Counties, and Alan Weston, who is the legislative director of NJAC, and we thank them for supporting our students with these scholarships that we're going to now present.
We're very pleased this evening to share with you some excitement in Union County because we have 3 students who are here today who will be receiving some award money from a group. They can't hear her. A group, the New Jersey Association of Counties, and we have with us today the person who is very instrumental in doing that from that organization. So we're very pleased to have you to be a part of it, and you may want to share something.
Yes, thank you, Freeholder. My name is Alan Weston. I'm the Legislative Director with the Association of Counties. I'd like to thank the County Manager, the County Chairman, Freeholder Chairman, as well as the entire Freeholder Board, but especially Freeholder Wright, who is the member of our Board of Directors and who this year at our annual celebration of county government was recognized amongst all the freeholders in the state of New Jersey as the 2016 Maurice Fitzgibbons Freeholder of the Year Award. So please, a quick round of applause for Freeholder Wright. So it is her active participation with our organization that helps to facilitate this award ceremony tonight. So our association represents all 21 counties. We advocate on their behalf for legislation and policy directives that help them to operate more effectively and efficiently. But the most rewarding work that we get to do at NJAC is through our foundation, where we're able to take corporate donations through our 501c3 and redistribute those dollars to our county vocational technical school students who are opting to continue their education at schools right here in New Jersey. So we've got 3 very deserving award recipients tonight, and I will leave it to the freeholders to introduce them.
We have Andriana Saban.
Well, hi, I'm Adriana Sabat. I just graduated from Union County Vocational Technical Schools in Scotch Plains, and I'm going to study architecture at NJIT.
Errol Jan Milado.
I'm Errol. I just graduated Academy for Allied Health Sciences, and I'm going to continue my education at Rutgers Engineering for biomedical engineering.
And Saul Kondo.
Hi, I'm Sol Kondo. I just graduated from Union County Academy for Performing Arts, and I'm going to be studying architecture at Kane University.
I know the check's the most important.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Once again, congratulations to the students and, of course, to their parents and families, and good luck in your college careers beginning in a few weeks, I presume. All right, now we move to our official agenda. First, we have approval of communication. Could I please have a motion to approve communication?
So moved.
Second. Moved by Freeholder Kowalski, seconded by Freeholder Mirabella. Please call the roll.
Freeholder Carter?
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada?
Yes.
Freeholder Kowalski?
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella?
Aye.
Freeholder Wright?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Granados?
Aye.
And Chairman Bergen?
Aye.
Chairman, you have 7 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. We now have approval of 4 sets of minutes. May I please have a motion to waive the reading and accept the minutes of June 2nd agenda meeting, June 9 regular meeting, June 16 agenda meeting, and June 23rd
So
regular
moved.
meeting.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Freeholder Mirabella, seconded by Freeholder Carter. Please call the roll.
Freeholder Carter?
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada?
Yes, with an abstention on June the 2nd agenda meeting.
Freeholder Kowalski?
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella?
Aye.
Freeholder Wright?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Granados?
Abstention for June 9th, aye to the rest.
And Chairman Bergen?
Yes as to all.
Chairman, you have 7 votes in the affirmative with the extension of, with the exception of the Thursday, June 2nd, 2016 agenda meeting with 6 votes in the affirmative with 1 abstention, and the Thursday, June 9th, 2016 regular meeting minutes where you have 6 votes in the affirmative and 1 abstention.
Thank you. We now have listed an ordinance for adoption. Clerk of the Board, would you please read the ordinance by title?
Ordinance number 776-2016, bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements and the acquisition of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery, new additional furnishings, new communication and signal systems equipment, new information technology and telecommunications equipment, and new automotive vehicles, including original apparatus and equipment, in, by, and for the County of Union, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $58,933,154, to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate state grants, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
Thank you. Now open the floor to the public for comment on the pending ordinance only. If you'd like to make a comment or have a question concerning the ordinance, please step forward. Please state your town of residence, and please remember the 5-minute time limitation. Is there anyone who wishes to address the pending ordinance only?
Good evening, Chair Bergen, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson, Garwood, New Jersey. Thank you for the library grant, by the way. We definitely need it. Just a couple of questions. I did open it. I looked at the background of what this money's about. And I'm not going to get into the particulars, but the Westfield Leader did have an article about every year, and I've been coming to these Freeholder meetings for so many years. And yes, you have this kind of housekeeping type ordinance that shows up every year, and the range is around 35 to 45 million. One year it was 49 million, and the Westfield Leader did have an article that, you know, this is the highest amount yet that you're borrowing. And what I find strange is this budget year, you actually had about $50 million in surplus. Now, you offset some of the expenditures in the budget, you know, and you brought it down to about $33 million in surplus that you're now sitting on. I don't understand why you actually want to borrow this high amount when you also have that high amount of surplus in surplus. That sounds. But anyway, I did a while ago mention that you could have easily offset any tax increase that came out of this budget cycle by bringing the surplus down to 25 million, which would have been 5%, which is kind of a rule of thumb. But it seems like you're losing control, you know, these monies are kind of like just spiraling out. I mean, we're looking at $59 million on this, and that is a lot of money, more than some budgets of towns here in the county. I'd like to know why, you know, I know it totals up to $59 million. It's just why are we reaching out, spending this high amount? And then just a secondary question is that there is a first reading ordinance right below it, and it seems like it's the same amount or very, very close to it. I'm just wondering, are they related, those two? So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. I will respond to your last item, which was in fact a question, and tell you that that's just coincidence. The two items are unrelated. The balance, I think, really was more of a statement than a question, so we will move on. Are there any other members of the public who wish to address the pending ordinance? Seeing none, then I'll call the public portion to a close, and I'll ask the chairman of the fiscal committee to please move the ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll move ordinance number 776, 2016 for final reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise the same in accordance to the law.
May I please have a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Freeholder Mirabella, seconded by Freeholder Kowalski. Clerk of the board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Carter?
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada?
Yes.
Freeholder Kowalski?
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella?
Aye.
Freeholder Wright?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Granados?
Aye.
And Chairman Bergen?
Yes.
Chairman, you have 7 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you. We now have an ordinance for introduction, and once again, I'll ask the clerk of the board to please read the ordinance by title.
Ordinance number 777-2016, an ordinance of the County of Union, State of New Jersey, authorizing the guarantee of the payment of the principal of and interest on not exceeding $59 million in the aggregate principal amount of county guaranteed lease revenue bonds, Series 2016 Community Center and Library Project, issued by the Union County Improvement Authority for the purpose of providing additional security therefore and determining certain other matters in connection therewith.
Thank you. I call upon Freeholder Mirabella, Chairman of the Fiscal Committee, to please move the ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll move ordinance 777, 2016 for first reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise the same in accordance with the law. The final reading and public hearing is scheduled for September 15th, 2016.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Mirabella, seconded by Freeholder Kowalski. Clerk of the board, kindly call the roll.
Freeholder Carter?
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada?
No on 777-2016.
Freeholder Kowalski?
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella?
Aye.
Freeholder Wright?
I abstain for 777, 2016.
Vice Chairman Granados?
Aye.
And Chairman Bergen?
Yes.
Chairman, you have 5 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you. We now move on to the resolution portion of the meeting. And I now open the meeting to the public for comment only on pending resolutions. If you have comments or questions, please approach the mic. Please give your name and municipality, and remember the 5-minute time limit. And please give us the specific resolution which you are addressing before you speak. Thank you. Member of the public wishing to address any pending ordinance. Pending resolutions.
Good evening, Chair Bergen, ladies and gentlemen, and the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson Garwood. I mean, obviously there's a lot of people here, and they probably do have something to say. I don't know, maybe it's for the HART grants. I noticed that was on the resolution, but I'll go first, and if it is the HART grants, I'm sure they'll all be thanking you for that, much like the library board. Page 4. Number 652 in the center, this is the internal position control adjustments or changes. Could you please tell the public what this is about, an overview of it? I guess County Council Barry normally would do that, so through you, I'm asking that question. Number 653, right below that, increasing authorization to county council to settle tort claims and lawsuits filed against the county in the amount of $35,000 or less. I see the advantage of that. Let me ask you what the advantage of it is. And to me, it looks like it's at least saving legal costs to have like a knee-jerk reaction into the settlement of a lot of these smaller claims. I guess you're increasing the threshold. The question is, I mean, this seems to be like an open checkbook, and I mean, does anybody get to actually see what's going on now with all these settlements, $35,000 and less, and how does the public actually see something like that? Page 5, number 661 in the center of the page. This is an additional allocation in the amount of $492,980 in grant funding for January to December 2016. This sounds like it's for the Route 22 shuttle, which is mentioned in there. But my question is, what is this routing, scheduling, and dispatch and road operator service? That I'd like somebody to explain where this $492,000 is going to. It sure sounds like a wow number to me. I don't know how many shuttles there are. What is there, 2 maybe at the most? And it's going to cost $409,000. 666 on page 6. This is the one, the HART grant. Like I said, maybe somebody's going to talk on that. But I just have a question, because I've been talking about matching grants throughout the past 2 years. I'm just wondering, are these HART grant dollars that are given out, is this a matching grant type program? 669 on the same page in the center. You're actually just changing contract amount or account numbers to T&M. But as I usually point out, T&M actually donated $94,000 in political donations in 4 years. And oddly enough, T&M donated $15,600 3 years ago to Freeholder Ganatis, Kowalski, and Linda Carter. And coincidentally, they're up this year. So I don't know. I keep asking, if you're getting money, you really shouldn't be voting on these resolutions. Something's questionable on that. And tell you what, I'll sit down. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. On the HART grants, those are not matching grants. 661, Deputy Director Karen Dismore, maybe can just address briefly what that program is.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, Resolution 2016-661 is amending a prior resolution awarding to the vendor for the Union County Paratransit System. This is for the entire operation of the paratransit system, so it includes the Route 22 shuttles, but also all the operations for the course of the year. So that's close to 200,000 rides per year. This 492 is a sum total of federal and state grant dollars that were received during the course of the year since the original award was made. So these dollars go to offset any county dollars that are put into the operation of the system.
Thank you very much. Resolution 653 concerning the tort claim threshold. County Council Barry, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are a number of reasons why providing this number. Some time ago, the board increased the authorization of 15, and the reality is that $15,000 in today's market just basically does not settle cases. Being able to make offers early on in cases save us money in terms of defense work. It also assist us in settling cases early on that are fee shifting. Oftentimes it's very difficult to settle litigation when you get far into a case after an attorney in a fee shifting case has incurred many, many hours, and oftentimes those settlements are more generated by counsel fees than by the claim itself or the damages. So those are two of the main reasons why they were increased. The amount is being proposed to increase so that we can settle these cases earlier. The number of cases, even at that amount, will be nominal. Probably this year, if this resolution had existed, it might have assisted in settling 2 or 3 cases. That was about it.
Thank you. Any other member of the public wishing to address pending resolutions?
John Berry of Kenilworth. And just that one resolution, 653. A few questions on that. That's the $35,000 limit. That amended 2015-334, which was passed April last year, 2015, and it had a $15,000 limit. And that resolution amended 64798. So, first question is, I assume it hasn't been changed since 1998 before it was changed in 2015. What was the old limit that was in effect from 98 to all the way there? And that's the first one. The second question on that is, it appears that, is there any way for the public to check on this? In the past, if it was under whatever that limit was, or 15,000 the last year, there'd be a resolution here. I assume there's going to be no resolution, nothing reported, anything under 35,000 is going to go, and the freeholders won't, or more importantly, the public isn't going to know anything about it. Is that the case, or will there be a mention of it? That's the second question. The third question is, well, it said 2 or 3 between this, but how many were actually impacted in the last year? This 2015 resolution was passed over a year ago, and it raised it to 15,000. How many cases were settled for under 15,000, and were they settled without freeholder knowledge, pretty much? I mean, was there any reporting or whatever? And the last question is on the specific one. You can see these settlements in the check registry, and it's kind of hard to keep up because there's a lot of numbers, but occasionally they pop up. And on March 16th, 2016, there was a check made out to the law office of Walter M. Lures regarding a legal settlement for $10,000. So it looks like this $10,000, I mean, this is an example going back to the last question. This $10,000 fell under that resolution last year. It probably would have popped up and somebody would have seen that payout in March 2016, but they didn't. So on that part, first specifically, what is that? What was that case? $10,000 to Walter Lures. I think Lures got some money before. He got $40,000 in 2015 for another case, which actually made the resolution thing. What was that exactly for? And again, going back to 3, how many are impacted? And out of curiosity, did the freeholders know that this was settled to Walter Lures? I mean, this kind of ties into the other question, are you going to be told about settlements? Did you actually know about this one, which settled March 16th, and according to 334, they didn't have to tell anybody about it. So I was just curious to see if you knew that Walter Lures got $10,000 for something and what that was about. So that's it. Sorry about the number.
Thank you. To answer one of your early questions, the original amount was $5,000, and then we raised it to $15,000, and then, quite frankly, it became clear to a number of the freeholders that we were just spending too much legal time on cases that could be settled early on, as our county council explained, and this really. Being an attorney and being involved in litigation, it is of a great advantage for an attorney to be able to say to an adversary and a judge, I have money I can offer today. You don't have to wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks for it to go back to the freeholder board and have them vote on it. And so it was certainly my belief, and the freeholder board is considering that $35,000 is a reasonable amount of money to give the authority to our council to settle cases that can be settled early and for less. and I'll turn to the county council for a couple of the other specific questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With reference to how many were settled last year under the 15 cap, I'd be shocked if it was more than 3. I'm thinking of 1 or 2 that I can think of. The Lawyers case that was awarded a counsel fee, that was an Oprah case. That was settled for that amount, and it did not involve a resolution.
Thank you. Any other member of the public wishing to address any pending resolution? Please step up.
Richard Lenahan, Roselle. Good evening, Chairman Bergen and freeholders. I had in advance submitted some questions to you by way of email, which
Could you please say which resolution this applies to?
Yes, this applies to ordinance for introduction 777.
Okay, I'm going to have to ask you to hold your questions till later in the evening. These questions are strictly on pending resolutions. That is an ordinance that was introduced. You can address it later in the
Okay.
regular public portion.
Surely.
Thank you. Any member of the public wishing to address a pending resolution? Seeing none, I'll call that portion of the meeting to a close and ask for a motion to adopt resolutions 2016-642 through 2016-683.
Second.
Moved by Vice Chairman Granato, seconded by Freeholder Carter. Please call the roll.
Freeholder Carter.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Abstain on 2016649, yes to the rest.
Freeholder Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Granados.
Aye.
Chairman Bergen.
Yes, I abstain on resolutions 2016-662 and 663, and vote yes on the remaining resolutions.
Chairman, you have 7 votes in the affirmative, with the exception of resolutions 2016-649, 662, and 663. We have 6 votes in the affirmative, with 1 abstention.
Thank you. We now have the need to consider 3 resolutions which were not placed on the agenda at our agenda session last week, so I am going to request a motion to suspend the rules for purpose of considering those 3 resolutions from the floor.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Mirabella, seconded by Freeholder Kowalski. Clerk of the Board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Carter.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Freeholder Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Granados.
Aye.
Chairman Bergen.
Yes.
Chairman, you have 7 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you. I now reopen the public portion for any questions or comments strictly on the 3 resolutions that are now being considered from the floor. Those are 684, 685, and 686. Are there any members of the public wishing to address those 3? And once again, please give your name, your town of residence, and which of the resolutions you're addressing, and please recall the 5-minute time limit.
Good evening, Chair Bergen, ladies and gentlemen, Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson, Garwood. This obviously is something new in your procedure. Coming to all these meetings, yes, in the agenda-setting meetings, you say, oh, I want to add another resolution, financial maybe, or another resolution, and then all of a sudden the next meeting, which is normally this type of meeting, the open public meeting, it's stuck in there among all the, whatever you're proposing at that point, it's all stuck in here. But yet now I'm looking at something new, and I'm just wondering, and I'm asking about all 3 of these. Why is this all of a sudden like a new format that the public is looking at? Was it that you were mixing them in with the rest of the resolutions, all those other times, and that was wrong, and maybe there was a legal opinion that came down that said you have to actually address them separately? I don't know. Could you please explain why these are actually separate and on a different format? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. I'll be happy to explain that. It has really nothing to do with the substance of the three resolutions. It's strictly a timing matter. Our rules of procedure provide that resolutions to be heard at this public meeting need to be addressed to the agenda at the agenda-setting meeting. Unfortunately, these three items, two from our clerk's office and one commenting on a statewide matter from Freeholder Estrada, were not ready or known that they were needed when we were here a week ago, and therefore they could not be placed on the agenda. So our rules do provide for this procedure to bring in a resolution from the floor. And it rarely happens, but being it is the summertime and we have a couple fewer meetings in August than in most months, we did have a timing issue, and that's why they were brought today by this method rather than holding them to the next meeting, because there just was a time problem. Thank you for your question in that regard. Any other members of the public wishing to address any of these three resolutions? Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting and request a motion to adopt resolutions 2016-684 through 686.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Mirabella, seconded by Freeholder Carter. Clerk of the board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Carter?
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada?
Yes.
Freeholder Kowalski?
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella?
Aye.
Freeholder Wright?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Granados?
Aye.
And Chairman Bergen?
Yes.
Chairman, you have 7 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you. Now we move to the public comment portion of the meeting, and the meeting is now open to the public for purposes of commenting on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of the county. Please once again state your name and your town of residence and adhere to the 5-minute time limit. Good evening.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Stillifson. I'm an attorney. I'm from Westfield, New Jersey. I'm here tonight. I've been asked by a number of my fellow Union County mountain biker advocates to ask you why mountain biking is not permitted at the Watchung Reservation. The two main points I want to emphasize tonight are transparency and access. The county must be transparent and inclusive in its decision-making. Currently, biking within the reservation and every other Union County park is banned. Why? Nobody knows. Yesterday, I read a Star Ledger article from 2014 in which one of the freeholders was quoted as saying that the county's looking at this issue. That's 2 years ago. Just this week, I received another communication from the county that the county is still studying the issue and that a trail may be built in 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, the county's decision-making process on this issue needs to come out into the open. The Union County mountain biking community, along with all other trail users, must be involved in the decision-making process for trail access at Watchung Reservation. Not only are we taxpayers and voters, but we are stakeholders in Watchung, just like every other trail user group: Boy Scouts, hikers, equestrians, archaeologists. This unjust ban has been in place for 20 years. Now is the time to end it. We are no longer willing to wait for years until the county makes up its mind on what it's going to do and then simply be informed of that decision. We are here tonight to show that we will be involved and we aren't going away. My second point, access, is just as important as transparency. Union County currently has no accessible mountain biking trails. In fact, it's one of only 2 counties in the entire state that has no mountain biking access. However, a mixed-use share trail access concept has been successfully adopted around the state to everyone's benefit. Here are a few examples of smaller parks where it's been used: Somerset County, Chimney Rock Park; in Morris County, Lewis Morris Park; Allaire Park down in Ocean County. All of these parks have partnered with an organization called JORBA. That's the Jersey Off-Road Biking Association. It's all volunteers, not for profit. Together, the land managers and JORBA have successfully integrated different trail users into one trail alliance with very little, if any, problems. With its size and current trail network and a ready and willing volunteer base, Watchung Reservation is perfect for a shared trail access plan. Not only is Watchung perfect for mixed-use shared trail access. It's already successfully happened. Earlier this year, the signs at Watchung Reservation banning mountain biking came down. Mountain bikers understandably began to return to the park, thinking that the ban had been lifted. And by the way, the ambiguity regarding the ban was a direct result of the county's lack of transparency and refusal to communicate with Jorba and the mountain biking community. I can say with great confidence that every interaction between bikers, hikers, and equestrians was positive. I've personally helped lost hikers with directions, and I know many other bikers have done the same. This soft opening, if you will, is a tangible example of the positive and productive results from sharing the trails. The county should immediately go back to this model, remove the signs, and lift the ban on biking at Watchung. To sum it up, we need transparency and access. Jorba and the Union County mountain biking community, along with all other trail users, must be involved in the decision-making process at Watchung. Comparable parks in New Jersey have shown that mixed-use, shared trail access for bikes is a win-win solution for all trail users. We are confident that, with the mountain biking community involvement, the same results will happen at Watchung Reservation. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Hi, my name's Ned O'Connell. I'm from Scotch Plains. I'm a trail steward at Watchung Reservation, and I'm the head of the chainsaw crew. I probably put in about 40 to 60 hours a month maintaining trails. I don't think everything you just heard was exactly true. I'm going to tell you what is true. The people who use Watchung Reservation are hikers, joggers, dog walkers, nature walkers, class trips, camps, family outings, equestrians. The one thing they have in common is they all go at pretty much the same pace. A jogger might go a little faster, but everybody else is going to the same place. You can't say that about the bikers. Many of them do travel at a regular pace, but I've seen bikers go down trails wide open, 25, 30 miles an hour. I've had to jump out of the way more than once. I usually tell bikers, excuse me, you can't bike up here, it's off limits. No biking at Watchung Reservation. That's my standard line. I've been yelled at, I've been lied to, I've been cursed at, I've been spit at, I've been menaced. Not by everybody. Many of them are very polite, but not all of them are. Watchung was designed by Frederick Law Olmsted, who designed Central Park, as a walking park, as Central Park is. You don't see bikes in Central Park. You shouldn't see bikes here. Most of the trails, half the trails at least, I should say, are very, very narrow. And what happens is a biker comes up, and you don't even hear him coming, and you jump out of the way. And I have a few friends here who that has happened to more than once. Many of the bikers are responsible and polite, many are not. And if they open this up to biking, we're going to have more and more problems. The bikers ignore the signs, as they've been doing for years. There are signs up now. New signs were just put up this past week. They completely ignore them. So if you think you're going to open it up to limited use, forget it. They ignore the signs now, they will ignore them in the future. The bikes tear up the trails. If we put down what we call tree cookies or corduroy roads, that enables hikers to be able to negotiate puddles, the bikers will move them because they don't like them, because it's hard to drive over. If a tree falls down, my chainsaw crew will come and remove it. But what bikers do is they build up a ramp on both sides so they can ride over. Okay? That makes it much, much harder for the hikers. It's very unsafe on narrow trails. They go off-road. They're rude. We've gone over that. These trails are very unsafe for two reasons: neglect We don't put a lot of money into these trails. And number two, there's been a tremendous amount of erosion over the last few years. These are very, very unsafe trails. They talked about Jorba. There are 21 parks in this state that allow biking. There are 3 locally: Washington Rock, Lenape, and Nomahagan. So if they want to ride on a trail, they have easy access to those trails. But the biggest problem you're going to have is liability. When a biker goes and has an accident or hits a hiker, sooner or later, you're going to get sued. I think that's the main reason why we should not allow biking on Watchung. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Before the next speaker, I want to just inject a little bit here.
Sure.
First of all, it's obvious from the first 2 speakers that there are 2 sides to this story. And I would hope that we're not going to see tonight turn into a long debate of he said, she said. Here's where we are. The law in the County of Union for a long time has been that bikes are not allowed to be ridden in any of our county parks. And in fact, that is still the law. And I don't know what happened to the signs that were up there, but they were not removed by the county. And that's why new signs were put up, because as we sit here today, bicycle riding in the parks is still not allowed. But that is being changed. And in fact, earlier this year, this Freeholder Board adopted a revised park master plan, which does provide for bicycle paths for bicyclists to ride in Watchung Reservation. That plan is still in the process of being put into place, and I am told by our recreation director that, in fact, I think he said in October there is a planned meeting with an open meeting with bicyclists from across the county to get input into implementing the new bike trail. The plan that we've put in place provides for separate trails for bicyclists and walkers and equestrians, so that hopefully we can avoid some of the problems that obviously occur when you have a limited amount of space and many people wanting to use it. So this Freeholder Board has heard the bicyclists, and we understand your concerns, and we are trying to address them, but we're trying to address them in a reasonable and reasoned fashion that deals with everybody's concerns. I do want to say I do believe we've been as transparent as can be on this issue. It has been many years that there's been a ban, but it only came to the attention of the Freeholder Board relatively recently, within the last couple of years, that there was a, if you will, a new movement to ask for us to reconsider this. And in fact, this board did reconsider it, and we are moving in that direction. So we are hopeful that we can ensure that the Watchung Reservation is available to all our citizens to use in the various modes that they want to use it. And so that being said, I'll be happy to take more comments, but we are moving in that direction.
Thank you. Understood. My name is Jamie Meiselman, resident of Westfield, and a third-generation Union County person as well. Grew up in Westfield, class of '87. My father grew up and still works in Elizabeth. My mother in Linden. And the reason I mention that is, as a teenager in Westfield, my friends and I used to ride in Watchung Reservation when it was legal, and when mountain biking was at its infancy. And I have incredibly fond memories of being outside doing something healthy with my friends as a teenager, and moved away from the area for school and career, and moved back in 2004, moved back to Westfield, learned that mountain biking was banned, and it's really unfortunate. So I am here to represent some of the fellow mountain biking community in Union County. I mean, if you guys want to raise your hand just to give an idea of who's here for the. Oh, wow, more than I thought. Right, good. So, as you can see, we're a pretty diverse group of people from probably almost every town, if not all the towns in Union County. And again, I just want to, and I'm not going to, you guys have certainly made very reasonable points, and I'm not going to try to dispute them one-on-one. I'm just going to go through a quick presentation I believe all of you guys were given copies of today. So, executive summary, transparency and access. Andrew went through all these. Union County has no legal mountain bike trails right now. And as you can see, a very large and enthusiastic population of mountain bike riders. And we want to know why. We understand that something is in the works, but we are really here to make sure that that process gets tightened up and that a real direct line of communication can occur between who's working for the county, for the riders, for Jorba, and for the other trail users. We want to make sure that we'll have the best result if everyone works together and we sort of get to the finish line and really the starting line with this. With respect to access, Watchung Reservation, the size, the terrain, the capacity actually make it a perfect candidate for a safe and enjoyable integration of mountain biking with all of the trail users. And along with that, you're going to get the cooperation of Jorba, who, you know, in the state of New Jersey, as he said, there's 21 parks that Jorba oversees. Each park over 1,000 hours of volunteer trail maintenance to maintain and improve not only the trails themselves, but etiquette and behavior. And if there are any riders that are misbehaving, they have a trail ambassador program, almost like a ski patrol, volunteer guys that can make sure that that kind of stuff is kept to a minimum. So that's the basic summary. Jorba, again, just real quickly, they've been around since 1999. They're a nonprofit. On their website, their mission is to build and maintain sustainable multi-use trails, organize and encourage volunteerism and responsibility, and advocate and foster mountain biking as a healthy, environmentally sound, and sustainable activity. So these guys are pros. They already oversee this in 21 parks in New Jersey. Unfortunately, the closest one to Watchung Reservation is Chimney Rock, which is about 30 minutes without traffic and usually a lot more. Jorba is the official affiliate for New Jersey of the International Mountain Biking Association. Those guys are the global pros at all this. They know how to integrate safe mountain biking in parks all over the world. They're working not only in the US and Canada, but in 30 other countries worldwide. So they really set best practices for making these facilities, these trails, great for all trail users. And with respect to the issues of liability, Jorba itself carries liability insurance for itself and all its volunteers, all its trail workers. They hold products and completed operations policies and directors and officer policies. These guys work in New Jersey, which, as you know, is one of the most litigious states in the country. They've been doing it since '99 in 21 parks, and the issue of liability has really not been a significant issue for them. Real quickly, comparables to Watchung Reservation. I'll just take another minute. Chimney Rock, it's in Somerset County. It's the closest place to Watchung Reservation. It's 705 acres with 14 miles of trails. All of those trails are open to bikes and hikers. And Jorba volunteers, I actually was doing it yesterday myself, over 1,000 trail hours of maintenance per year. Free labor. Next one, Lewis Morris. Morris County, that's about 40 minutes away. You guys maybe have been there. You got to drive through Morristown. 1,154 acres, 10 plus miles of trails. This is probably one that is probably most what I would consider what we should follow for the Watchung model.
I'm sorry, your time is up.
Can I let me just finish it up real quick.
Got one sentence to go.
Okay. All right, then I'm just going to go right to Watchung, okay? It is 2,200 acres, as you know.
I'm
That's
sorry,
more than these
5
two
minutes
combined.
5 minutes is up.
All right, well,
Thank
you guys have the deck. And
we have
encourage
the
you-
presentation. We appreciate it. We all
Okay.
received it by email. Thank you.
Yeah, and our emails are on here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Tom Gockel. I'm a retired CPA. I live in Westfield. I've lived there for 21 years. The issue we're talking about here is a 2,200 public reservation. If we were to just say we want to go out of the park business and sell it for residential lots, the county would collect $2.4 billion, in my estimate. Now, I consulted with an architect in Westfield, Greg Talmont, and a senior engineer at an engineering company in North Jersey to determine what these numbers would be. My point is it's a very material asset that we're talking about here. And I wanted to say that mountain biking brings more people into the parks, which, in my opinion, are quite underutilized, especially during the week. Since the signs have come down, I was unaware that it was illegal to ride in the park. I've ridden there very often this summer. And I think that having more people in there makes it safer for everyone, first of all. I just wanted to say also that our federal government generally supports mountain biking, and it's a recreational activity that's shared by many, many in the community, of which there are approximately 30 here tonight. All the trails that I ride are shared by hikers, and you know, Jamie mentioned some of those, the Morris County Parks, Lewis Morris, or the Somerset County Parks at Chimney Rock, Alair in Monmouth County, as well as Hartshorn and Huber. There are even more challenging parks, for example, Wissahickon and Philly, where everyone shares the trails. We do bring significant free labor into the parks. For example, both Iggy and Sven were there. They're Union County residents, and they were working on the trails in Somerset County because we can't work on the trails with Jorba. However, during the trail day on August 6th, there were 12 mountain bikers of the 23 people working on the trails there. So we put a significant amount of time in at the first trail day. We were aware we could attend. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Hello. Excuse me. My name is Brian Matula. I'm a Union County resident. I've lived here all my adult life. I live in Berkeley Heights. 4 miles from the reservation, except for the fact that it's uphill both ways because of the mountain. It's within biking distance, so I can actually ride my bike to the park. Something I did when I was a youngster, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I and other mountain bikers were banned. From what I've been able to find out doing research into it, because there isn't a lot of information available about what happened 20 years ago, it was done without much public input, at least on the part of the bikers. The thing is, we never went away. We remain here. We're Union County residents, we're citizens, we're voters. We've been waiting for years, for 2 decades. That's a long time. To see some progress on park access, and we did. There was a meeting in February. The county hired a consultant. They're working on a trail plan, or considering a trail plan, developing, however you put it. And then the no bike signs came down, and that was the first tangible evidence anybody had seen in 20 years. And people were overjoyed. People assumed that with no communication coming out of the county on a regular basis, no offense, people had to assume that this action spoke for it and that the ban was no longer being enforced. So people rode there. I rode there. I rode there, tried to ride there once a week. My commute actually takes me through Skytop Drive. And I would specifically, I'd bring a bike and a change of clothes, and I would ride there. I was using the park every week during the weekdays, as well as on the weekends. I used to see cars on the parking spaces on Skytop Drive after the signs came down every day, 2 or 3 cars. Some people were hiking. A lot of people, you could tell, were biking, racks and stuff. And it made me very happy to see other people using the park, because I tell you, I've been there back and forth there over the years, and it doesn't get a lot of use on the weekdays. He's absolutely right about that. It was nice to see people using the park. After the signs went up, I drove through there, and I think I saw 1 car during the week, and in the last week since the signs went up this past weekend. We shouldn't be arbitrarily barred. These gentlemen have explained the situation at various other parks. Lewis Morris is probably topographically, as a rider and as a hiker, I do both. I have to say Lewis Morris is probably the most similar thing you're going to get to watch on in terms of comparison. You do have the horses and equestrians in addition to hikers and bikers. And the terrain is very similar, the rockiness of the soil, etc. Lewis Morris is a wonderful park. I love to go there. Problem is it's 45 minutes away. I get out of work at 4:30. I pass by watching on the way home. I can get in a couple hours of riding. it's not just an issue of inconvenience that I have to drive further to go to the park. It's that I can't, on weekdays, go to the park. And all these other parks have demonstrated that, yes, we know occasionally you're going to have a bad apple or a rude person or a careless person. When somebody speeds, do you shut down the roads to cars? Or do you penalize the malefactor? I have a firm conviction that mountain biking will return to watching reservations shortly, hopefully sometime in my lifetime. Like I said, I just turned 38 a few days ago. The last time I was able to ride there without looking over my shoulder was when Bill Clinton was president. But the question is, will the current county administration be the one that can take credit for moving the county's park system forward? I'd like to think it can. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Good evening. Glenn Johnson, Westfield, New Jersey. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, freeholders, for your time here. I'm going to try and summarize what my friend Mr. Mosman was trying to close up here in his presentation. And I know you guys have a coffee, but Mr. Stevens brought up a couple of, I think I have your name right. Is that correct, Mr. Stevens? O'Connell, I'm sorry. He's right. There's guys flying by on trails with hikers at 30 miles an hour. The problem is, if you don't have a master plan where you can limit or at least restrict access for bikes or hikers or equestrians, you're left to a free-for-all, right? And I think that doesn't serve anybody. To Chairman Bergen, we do want everybody's concerns addressed. The mountain bike community firmly believes in that. I think the presentation that you guys have demonstrates that Jorba over the years and all the volunteer groups around the different counties have committed to doing that. We do want fixed milestones for getting the park open. We've gotten a lot of lip service. We've also been ignored. Some of us have taken the law into our own hands and just ridden in there, because we can get away with it. So I ask you, Chairman Bergen, to commit tonight to fix milestones for when these different events will take place. Trail design will involve all the groups, equestrians, hikers, and bikers, and get a plan. And sooner is better than later. Just anecdotally, my own experience, the signs came down whenever, December, and I've run into numerous hikers, I think as Mr. Silson has said, and helped them. They're lost. And I can easily get them out of there. And in one case, I had a woman who was running, slipped and fell, cut her leg pretty well. I just started my ride, had a water bottle, gave her that, was able to wash the wound out. I also had a towel with me, was able to wrap her leg up, get her out of there, at least just basic first aid, get her on her way, at least get her home so she could get cleaned up. But bottom line, next steps, keep the lines of communications open, and we need regular scheduled communications between the parks, Jorba, Union County. We'd like a mountain bike appointee from the county, and also include members of the hiking community and the equestrians. Not particularly interested in talking to the farm manager from the barn, but I am interested in talking to equestrian club members. We need to end the ban, as others have said. 20 years of exclusion. We can certainly allow bikes on select trails now and help with the integration of a master plan. And finally, we want to help manage the integration. We realize the park may change over time, use may change over time, and we may have to change trails over time. And we want to be part of that solution. So I thank you for your time and appreciate your consideration.
Thank you for your comments.
Richard Lenahan, Roselle. I might be changing the topic here a little bit, but this is in regard to Ordinance 777, which is only being introduced tonight, which I'm glad is because it'll give a month at least to maybe give some more consideration to perhaps some not so salient points that have come to light so far. But in looking at the ordinance, I see that there is 59 million aggregate principal amount of county guaranteed lease revenue bonds. and I see that it came from, issued by the Union County Improvement Authority. I'm wondering how that is split, because I did, and thanks to the fine work of the Union County Improvement Authority, I did receive some very helpful Oprahs, and see that there is actually two bonds that I became familiar with through the Oprahs, having to do with Roselle. I and my wife have a home in Roselle for 40 years. We have our daughters go to school in Roselle. They returned to actually teach in the schools in Roselle. So I understand that one of these bonds of $19.5 million, if I'm correct, is to do with the school, and $30 million is to do with community center library. We could see, the benefit of the library is we saw here tonight, but this has to do with some capital improvements. As I mentioned before, I did submit in by way of email to all of you some questions that I had and do have regarding the project known as the Mind and Body Complex in Roselle. And of course, the first question, and perhaps you can answer it, but it should be something that should be looked at if you're going to be approving this bond, of backing this bond, of guaranteeing this bond with Union County money. And our question from Roselle point of view is, what tax increase will this $50 million, or perhaps now $59 million bond, what kind of tax impact will that have on Roselle taxpayers? We see that in Roselle, and why I ask that question is, Roselle has the 6th highest percentage of income from a household that goes to property taxes. 22% of our income goes to property taxes. And New Jersey has the highest effective tax rate, as we know. And Roselle is also already targeted if the fairness formula goes into effect. We see that the fairness formula as it applies in Union County is going to be very good for Broadway, Roselle Park, Kenilworth, Linden, Cranford. They're going to get taxes reduced, according to the governor's projections, by quite a bit, which average out in those 16 towns that have reductions, averages out to $31,688. That's a nice, that's a total reduction. Average savings for the 16 towns would be $1,980. On the other hand, the 4 towns that are not part of that, having their taxes go down, Roselle is estimated to have theirs go up $850, just from the point of view of the realignment of the fairness formula. Roselle also is, according to the lease and the agreement that what is in works already, I see is going to be paying, has the full faith and credit of the borough behind it. I would like to point out, though, that with the highest property taxes in the U.S., New Jersey is more than $7,000. Its first, its highest, the second in place is Connecticut with $5,200. Okay, we are we're being taxed, and I don't think our household income, which even in 2014 came down more than 11% from 2000.
Mr. Linehan, I'm
just
sorry,
keep
but
going
your
down.
time is up. I'm
And it's just one quote, though, from
sorry.
our Senator Lesniak today.
I'm sorry. You have to sit down. Your time is up. We have to enforce the rules for everybody. Thank you.
Arlene Murphy, I'm from Roselle also.
Could you please talk into the mic just to make sure we can
All
hear
right.
you?
Arlene Murphy from Roselle, and it's about the same issue. Plausible deniability is a handy escape hatch for the politically gifted, like an invisible cloak. Senator Ray Lesniak in an email to us. One of the things that we've been following the numbers. We love Roselle. We love the people of Roselle. We've been there, as he said, longer than some of the people on the council are alive. But we are going under. I'm not saying we need a school. We need a good bit of this. But we have to know how to measure it out. We live on a block that this Christmas time, a grandmother who was raising 2 little children had defaulted on her mortgage, and she had to leave 3 days before Christmas. In the same neighborhood where Mahmoud, who the one on the Freeholders board, he lived in that neighborhood. And what happened, this is about 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, people had a garage sale on Saturday. On Sunday, they took the rest of everything in their whole house, put the key in the mailbox, and left. I have no idea where they went. But there are people in that neighborhood who know that that happened. And these people are afraid, but they're afraid to do what Rich and I are doing. They're afraid to challenge this with people who are spent much less time in Roselle yet. They were elected, and they are doing what they would like to do, including, never mind. But anyway, it is something that you have some reading. I realize that you have a lot of reading. People give you stuff. We didn't realize that. But you have to promise that you're going to study the situation and know that it can't be as it is. It has to be, but it can't be the way it is. Mathematically, it does not work. Humanly, family-wise, people who live there, we have abandoned houses. We not only have pre-foreclosures and foreclosures, we have abandoned houses. People just leave them. And then they're sold, you know, by the borough. And then they make these fancy houses and, you know. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Reverend Atkins from Roselle, New Jersey. First of all, I would like to say thank you so very much on tonight for your support of Roselle. Not only what you passed tonight in terms of the ordinance for the first reading, but also what you did for our libraries. And that's very important to us. As you can see, we have, wow, I think we filled just about half of the room up because it's that important to us. One of the things I would like to say to you is that I remember a quote from the late Miles Monroe. He said, "True visionaries invest in its succession plan in the next generation." And one of the things that we're trying to do in Roselle, and it's very important to us, especially those individuals who have children in the school system, is to invest in our next generation. What you passed on tonight for the first reading is about our community center as well as our library project and the new school. The last school that was built in Roselle was 1940. Our library, which I thank you for the funds on today, but our library was built in 1937. What the residents of Roselle has been talking about, what they've been sharing with not only those members of the council and the Board of Ed, but they've been articulating the fact that, one, we have buildings that's very old and we don't have the technology for our kids to stay where they need to be in our society to make a difference. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to invest in our next generation. And how we do that is that we give them a community center where it's not just about the children, but it's also about adults. Some of our residents have to go to Union and have to go to other neighboring towns to go to a community center. We don't have one. And everything else that we have is pretty old. So just to give you some history about this particular project, I was the board president of the Roselle Board of Education when this came into fruition, and we brought everyone together. We brought the council together. We brought the Roselle Board of Education together. We brought the residents together. And all we heard is, please invest in our next generation. I'll be honest with you, I've walked the streets of Roselle. We have 21,000 residents. And I'm telling you that the majority of those residents feel this way. They don't mind investing. Taxes, I would agree. No one want to pay them. You know, nobody want their taxes to increase. But what I will tell you is that what I heard from residents is we don't mind making the investment as long as we can see where it's going. So freeholders on tonight, I ask you, I beg of you to help us help our town to get to that next level so we'll be able to not only bless our children, but also for the older, seasoned folks, for them to have somewhere that they can go and enjoy. Thank you so very much on tonight. I appreciate your time, and we appreciate your support. Thank you.
Good evening, freeholders, and again, Jamel Holly from Roselle, New Jersey. You know, it's really no secret of why I'm really here tonight. And I'm here because as a young man growing up in the Roselle community, I often wondered why my friends in Linden and Union and Elizabeth would have the things and recreational facilities that they had in their towns that we weren't allowed to have in ours. And as a young man growing up and eventually understanding politics, I realized that it's vision and leadership that really dictates what actually goes on in towns. And as a young man, as the Reverend mentioned, we have a very, very small library. We have no community center. We have not one pool, not one gymnasium. Our library is at a point where we're just putting Band-Aids on it to just let it sit and rot. Over the last 5 years, as an assemblyman, a former mayor, I have put blood, sweat, and tears into this project. I put together a great, strong team of professionals who would advise us on the dollar amount, good, strong professional team that would help us design, and a good, strong team that we were able to package this together and go out to the community and sell this project. But it was an easy sell. Because if you walk the streets of Roselle, what you will see is young men and young families walking just the streets because there is nowhere else to go. Thanks to each and every one of you, we were able to improve our parks. But that is only a Band-Aid. In Union, Vauxhall, over the last 10 years, you guys built new schools and a new library. In Elizabeth, you've built over 10 schools in the last 10 years. In Fanwood, you've built and have community centers. In Plainfield, you have pools and you have community centers. In Cranford, you built a wonderful new library and a wonderful community center. All being together as one for your communities. All we're asking in Roselle is just to finally give us our just due. I understand that the package is pretty steep because over the years, you guys have been able to piecemeal all of your projects. We've not been able to do that in Roselle. The school portion, I want you to just understand and take a moment to understand how we're going to pay for this. The Board of Education
currently pays $700,000 plus to lease space to house our pre-K and kindergarten academy. Those buildings are not ours. We lease those from Master Shims and St. Joseph's. The play area for those pre-K and kindergartners are a parking lot on St. George Avenue and 4th Avenue. That's where we teach our 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds in Roselle. That playtime is in a parking lot. All we're asking the Board of Education to do is to redirect those resources that they spent $700,000 for, is to redirect it to this project. We brought our garbage in-house, which was another creative way for us to save money every year. We used to spend about $1.2 million every year to outsource our garbage. We no longer do that. That payment will then now be redirected to this new mind and body complex. We've also embarked on a new 60-acre golf course project, which we were able to negotiate a community impact fee that will give us $1 million to help pay for this project as well. The goal in this project, which will be about $312, the cost of this is about $312, which comes to $26 a month. I have a strong council, I have a strong Board of Ed, where we will be disciplined to raise those dollars within our municipal budget to help pay for this project. Our financial analysts, our financial experts have worked with us. We have put an amazing team together over the last 5 years to ensure that before we came to you to ask us to support this guarantee, that we had all our ducks lined up in a row. It's sad looking at our kids in our community. It's sad looking at families where they can't take kids to a destination for them to play and receive recreational facilities. I'll end up this, Chairman, if you could just give me the courtesy for 1 minute.
Sentence.
Okay. I cannot stress to this Freeholder Board enough that we need this in Roselle.
Thank you.
We need this in Roselle, and we look forward to your support to helping us get this project to fruition. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sharice Pollard. I live in Roselle, and I am a single parent. I have 2 biological children and 2 foster children, and I do not have any place for my children to go. And this would be so ideal. I'm not very articulate as a lot of these people are, but you know, I just wanted to come up and just reiterate how important this is. I also grew up, I mean literally grew up in Roselle. I know Roselle. I did everything in Roselle, and we did not have a community center. We didn't have those places for us to go. But you know, like times were different back then, but now the streets are all we have for our kids. Is nowhere really for them to go outside of taking them outside of Roselle. And it's not the best place right now for our kids to just play around in the kids. And for me to open up my home to help and build other children who does not have those opportunities. I want to bring them into a town that are offering something, anything for them. I have an 8-year-old, I have a 4-year-old, I have an 11-year-old, a 13-year-old, and I have to keep them inside the house just playing computer games and watching television all day. And you know, it's not as safe as if we could have what we're asking. So please consider. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the Freeholders Board. My name is Samuel Bishop. I am from Roselle, and I am very proud to serve as a councilman in our 5th Ward. Just to open up, I want to thank the 5 members who voted to support this project. This is a vital, vital project. This will also, not only is this an investment in our children, but this also will be an investment as far as property values are concerned. It would make Roselle a more attractive place for people to live, particularly families that have young children who are the primary homeowner buyers that purchase homes. That becomes a lot more attractive if you have a decent library, recreation facilities for them. As Assemblyman Holly had mentioned, we are in desperate need of a new school. I mean, the fact that a school in Roselle has not been built since 1940 is actually astonishing when you really stop and think about that. I'm not going to take a lot of your time. The one thing I will say, I would like to point out, you'll hear a lot of things from people that the taxes are too high, we can't do this. You had a little preview of coming attractions a little bit earlier. But I will say this, that every one of our elected officials that you see here tonight ran on the premises of building this mind and body complex. We ran on this. The public knew this, and we have elections that were won by members of this team by margins of 3-1. That says a lot. People's votes speak the message. So you're going to hear a lot of scuttlebutt up over the next month or so as you consider this for your second. But I want you to keep in mind, we ran on this platform and we won 3-1. Thank you so much for your support. God bless and have a great evening.
Thank you.
What's up, Freeholders? Good evening. My name is Bob Miller. I'm from Cranford. Just a couple more comments back on the Watchung Reservation. Freeholder Jalen had made a comment in the NJ.com article from, I believe it was 2015, basically with the quote that echoes similar to what the chairman had made earlier, that the legacy of the historic park system, which since the 20s has the twin goals of preserving open space while providing the public with ample opportunity for recreation. I believe we've covered the opportunity for recreation, as there is nothing available for mountain bikers within Union County. And we've talked about a half hour, 45 minutes to different parks outside of the county. What that means to a lot of us, I have a 9-month-old daughter. For me to go pick up my bike, drive 45 minutes up to Chimney Rock or Lair, which is actually over an hour, unload the bike, go for a ride, put the bike back on the rack and drive home, turns a 75-minute ride into a 3-hour trek. It eliminates any possibility of doing that in the during the week. But also on the weekends, my wife's none too happy with me leaving the house for 3 hours to go have fun. So just to bring that up. But the second point about the preservation of open spaces, I think the hiker community, who I believe some of them actually just might have left, would agree with me on this, that there are sections of the park that actually pose a tort risk to the county. I mean, they're impassable on foot, let alone on 2 wheels. For example, behind the village, there's a 3-foot concrete drainage pipe that spans the width of a trail. That pipe has since been plugged. Water finds its way through. There's now a 3-foot wide, approximately 4-foot deep trench that separates 2 sides of the trail from itself. There's several other parts like that. I urge the freeholders to go out and see for themselves. Myself, I'm sure any of the gentlemen over here, we'd be more than happy to take you through, provide photographic evidence. I'm sure the hikers would also be happy to show you areas of the trail that are literally just tort hazards for the county. The point I'm trying to make is the mountain bike community has been banned from this park for 20 years. The hiking community, either throughout numbers or just not having enough of them, has been unable to keep up with basically keep up against nature. We have a group of large, able-bodied mountain bikers that are in shape that have proven that they can maintain these trails. The best part is it's free. It costs nothing. It takes risk away from the county. We've done it the old way for 20 years. Give us a shot. You should let us show you what we can do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sean Heron Patrick Sullivan. I'm from Westfield. I'm first and foremost a hiker, but I have recently become a mountain biker. Growing up in Westfield, I always spent basically every weekend up in Watchung hiking with my family. And recently I got into mountain biking when I moved back to Westfield. Since thinking that the park was open, I rode there and found that the trails were incomplete. As one of the hikers said, it was unsafe, and they are unsafe. When you go to any other park in the state that allows mountain biking, I challenge all of you to go to any other park. Spend 10 minutes on any trail. Spend 10 minutes on any trail in Watchung, and you'll see it's unsafe. And you'll find that at all the other parks, Lewis Morris, Belair, Hartshorn, Huber Woods, Chimney Rock, that those trails are open and safe, especially other places like 6 Mile. All those places allow hikers, bikers, and horse riders to go through. Personally, I've never had any issues with any of the people on horses at any other park, as well as Watchung. Same thing with hikers. So I really urge you guys to go out and see what it's like, see what the trails are like, see what Jorba and what other volunteer organizations can do. As far as, I'm very happy to see that we're moving in the right direction of opening the park, but make sure you keep in mind that making a loop that is about an hour long for the average rider, that's not a racer, that's an average rider. Making it an hour long will maintain that that rider will stay on those trails. I saw a proposed trail map that was put out, I guess, after you guys put out someone to look into it, and it looked about 20 minutes long for the average rider. I spoke to an engineer who also rides, and he came up with that same quote. You need about an hour. Without an hour ride, most people will just go off that trail and create issues. We want to make sure that we're a community and not going off the trails that we are not designed for us. At Huber Woods, down at Hartshorn and Atlantic Highlands, there is a section that is you cannot ride there. People go to it and see that and turn around and just keep riding the regular trails because you can spend an hour there. It's safe. Everyone knows that you can ride, you can hike, and you can ride your horse. The other spot is just for horses and hikers, and that's fine. The other thing is a trail rating system, making sure that we're clear with the public that these trails are advanced or these trails are intermediate. We don't want kids to go, high school kid go Walmart, buy a $100 bike, ride the $100 bike down a few of the trails that are pretty advanced, and fall and hurt themselves. We want it very publicly known that these trails are advanced and these trails are intermediate, as well as beginner, so that we can bring kids in, show them riding, show them outdoor recreation, not just looking at their phones all day, show them nature, and show them conservation. Studying environmental studies at University of Vermont, I found that through my soil classes as well as forestry classes, most of the impact is actually put on by hikers as well as horse riders. It's just a weight thing as well as the boots. But we also know that mountain bikes erode trails. So we're here to help that. We're here to maintain the trails that we use. In closing, I just want to say thank you for having us here. We really appreciate your time, and we appreciate that you guys are moving forward with this, and we'd really like to be a part of it. We'd like to have a council that involves cyclists, hikers, equestrian riders, and anyone else that is part of that. I mean, bird watchers, whoever. Anyone that's part of the Watchung community, we want to include, and we want to make sure that everyone gets their say and everyone has equal access. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other members of the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, we will now.
How polite I am.
Almost had it.
It was close. You may not like what I have to say, but Bruce Patterson. Good evening, Chair Bergen, ladies and gentlemen. Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson, Garwood. Just a couple of short things. Possibly you can explain about the Open Space Trust Fund that you were talking earlier this year about putting a tax in perpetuity on the residents. The deadline, I think, is tomorrow, so I don't know what the status is on that. Another question is, and this has been going on for about 4 months, I've been asking this, so you know what I'm going to say. Why is the Scotch Plains business administrator overseeing and controlling the county budget? It seems like a conflict of interest to me, and yet it was allowed to happen, and I'm still wondering what the answer is, and whatever crafted opinion, legal opinion, to allow this to happen. Now, in the last couple of meetings, we were talking about President McMiniman of Union County College and how the college was sanctioned by the American Association of University Professors because they accused her of abolished key structures of faculty representation of government, eliminating any independent faculty review. McMiniman declined to meet with representatives of the faculty. in response to any faculty complaints of government and academic freedom violations. I stood up here, and I said it sounds like she's a tyrant and there's no democracy over there at Union County College. You guys, almost to a man, supported her completely. But really, my question is, do you really have credibility in this support? And the reason why I'm asking that is because I just want to run down over the years, because I've been coming here so many times, exactly what impeaches this credibility, of yours. One is recently the Gary Taffet resolution for $200,000 to Acrisure and Reliance Insurance that he was chief of staff of McGreevy, and he quit. He resigned because it was an insider trading scandal. He was fined $750,000 from the SEC. Another is Birdsall Associates that you give hundreds of thousands of dollars in county monies to, or county work. They were indicted guilty of donation incongruities, and then the company was disbanded. Shore to Palma, hundreds of thousands of dollars in county work was given out to him until he was indicted, guilty of bribes, and disbanded. Imperial Construction, hundreds of thousands of dollars in county work was given to that company, guilty of kickbacks, indicted, and then disbanded. Lewis Burger Group, which you continually, and I keep talking about it, you continually give him tens of thousands of dollars in county work. He was fined $40 million by the federal government in fraudulent billing, yet you just continue to give him resolutions of money. Dakota's Fitzpatrick, millions of dollars in county work from the various county entities. One of the principals, Mr. Whistler, was indicted for bribing a senator. Unfortunately, he died before he was sentenced. M&E Railroad, that $13 million in county work you gave them to rehabilitate the railroad. The CEO was indicted and jailed for misappropriation of grant money. The Union County Municipal Alliance, hundreds of thousands of dollars every year you were giving them. The county watchers continually pointed that out, that it was wrong. The state controller finally came in, investigated the Union County Alliance, found fraudulent claims, and now the county alliance is dissolved. Right here, our own sheriff, and I've talked to this before, our own sheriff, he was found that he lied to prosecutors. He took gifts without reporting them. He cost the taxpayers the other year $355,000 for some harebrained accident some Saturday morning, and we had to pay $350,000 to cover his problems. I mean, and this guy, you'd think he's actually the greatest thing since sliced bread. I mean, all these items I'm reading, this is what you embrace. You embrace these organizations, and these organizations have been found out to be criminal. And now I'm talking about President McMiniman being a tyrant, and I wanted you to investigate her, and you're supporting her 100%. I think you really have to do something. You have to take a look and find out what the heck is going on at Union County College. And if she has to be fired, then you fire her. Unfortunately, you hired her. Okay, well, you fire her. It's that easy. I mean, the integrity here is nil. I mean, I've come to these meetings. I've talked about pay to play. I've talked about quit giving out resolutions of county work and taxpayer money to people that have been fined millions of dollars by the federal government, that had to quit in disgrace from McGreevy's. It's like horrible here. And yet, and it just kind of rolls off your shoulders. I mean, I'd really like you to talk about how much integrity you guys really have.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson.
In your wrap-up comments, I want to hear you to respond to all this. Prove me wrong on all of this. Prove me wrong. Thank you.
Mr. Patterson, the only thing I'm going to say is you can stand there and you can spew out what you do, but much of it is either untrue or
Mr. Bergen.
Excuse me.
No, excuse me. What you're saying is untrue.
Excuse me. I let you speak. I didn't interrupt you. Much of what you say is untrue or implies things that aren't true, and that's all I'm going to say about it, because they don't really need to be responded to specifically. Thank you, Mr. Patterson. You did ask one legitimate question. The Open Space Trust Fund was approved by this board to go on the ballot for this November. We're waiting to see how the ballot works out and whether, in fact, it's going to be on there. There's some potential space problems, but it was approved by this board some months ago to go on the ballot. And I'm also going to ask the county council to very briefly address your often stated question concerning Freeholder Mirabella, and hopefully we'll put this to bed because, again, you make implications that are not really based on fact and ask questions in such a way that they imply wrongdoing that aren't there. County council?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and following up with that, the statement that Freeholder Mirabella is overseeing and controlling the county budget is just completely inaccurate. He is one of 4 members of the fiscal committee. Yes, he chairs that committee, but with no more power than any other member of the committee. And in addition, all of the budget process in terms of all the budget hearings have been open to the public. I believe there was 4 such meetings. And in many of those instances, the entire board participates. Throughout the term since he has become the business administrator, it has been my opinion that his position there and sitting as a freeholder do not present a conflict of interest. There have been some occasions where he has abstained where it has directly and solely impacted Scotch Plains. Other than that, there's not a conflict, and he can continue to participate.
Thank you, County Council. Are there any other members of the public who wish to speak tonight? Seeing none, I will close that portion of the meeting, and we will turn to freeholder reports and comments. Freeholder Kowalski.
Thank you, Chairman, and thanks to everyone who came to speak tonight. We appreciate your input, and we do listen and take it all into account, so thanks for coming. I have some comments about a few events that have happened in the last week. Freeholder Wright and I had the pleasure of joining Groundwork Elizabeth at Liberty Hall Farm on Sunday during an event sponsored by the Freeholder Board and IKEA. And one of Chairman Bergen's initiatives this year has been support for community gardens around Union County. Groundwork Elizabeth is the administrator for grants for these community gardens, and so we had representatives from half a dozen community gardens. They told us about the work that they've been doing. There was a representative from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. There may be some possibility for further grants from them. So there's really a demand for community gardens, and these gardens generally donate their food to people in need, and it's an opportunity for people to be doing work that they enjoy, but also for a good purpose. So we're very pleased to cooperate with our gardeners and with Groundwork Elizabeth, and we'll give you further reports on that. And on another note, I would like to just mention that the Second Chance pilot program has been expanded thanks to a grant from the Department of Justice. This is a program that helps parolees stay out of prison. I think probably everybody who reads the newspaper is aware that there's a national movement to reduce prisons. Crime has gone down nationally. There are fewer people in prison, and therefore it makes sense to offer services to people who come out of prison so that they can become a part of the community and not go back to committing crimes. So this Second Chance focuses on jobs, housing, education, and other services for parolees to help them get back on their feet and be a part of the community. So thanks to our Human Services Director, Frank Guzzo, to Deputy Director Karen Dinsmore, who's here tonight, and for all of the staff for working with the State Parole Board and other stakeholders to ensure that this program continues to grow and serve more Union County residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Carter?
No comment.
Thank you, Freeholder Wright.
The free foreclosure presentation, the property owners fearing and facing or trying to avoid foreclosure are invited to attend a free educational presentation next month. The Foreclosure Moving from Fear to Positive Action presentation will include panel members representing state and county agencies. They will provide information and guidance to homeowners, including free resources that are available to them. 2 programs, one in English and one in Spanish, will be held at the Iglesia Cristiana Charismatica Church, located at 664 North Avenue in Elizabeth. The Spanish language presentation will be held on Tuesday, September the 27th, from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. The presentation in English will be held on Tuesday, October the 4th, from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Open to the public, these free presentations offer distressed homeowners an opportunity to talk to experts who offer reliable guidance and resource information. Pre-registration is not required. For more information, contact the Union County Human Relations Commission at 908-889-9028.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Estrada.
No comments, just back my time.
Thank you. Freeholder Mirabella.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of comments for me. I always appreciate when the librarians are here and the work that they do, and the value that this Freeholder Board has made in a commitment to supporting libraries, increasing the amount of allocation this year. And it's my hope, and I'm sure the hope of all the freeholders, that we'll continue to provide this kind of funding for our libraries next year and in the future. I did have some comments for the biking community, since they've decided not to stay for them. I'll keep it brief. I think, I support finding some space in the reservation that they can coexist and have their biking that's apart from the equestrian and also the hiking community. So I have full faith in the county manager to work together. There were some members that I think would make fine voices on behalf of that community, and I think that we should work together to find some space up there in that reservation for them to have their biking time. I want to address just one comment that one of the speakers made about Union County College, and I've been a terrific advocate and fan of the Union County College since I've been a freeholder. And I guess the question was, do we know what's going on at Union County College? Well, I know. Students are receiving an excellent education. The president and the administration are working hard to support educational opportunities for students, whether they are completing their 2-year degree or they're going there for extra classes, whether it's other students from other schools that are doing summer work or work over their breaks, whether it's seniors getting some additional education and lifelong learning, or whether it's families just trying to get an edge on a job and getting some skills to do that. So I know full well what's going on there, and I don't know why that's a regular commentary from a member of the public. And it's a single voice, and it's unnecessary. I have one other thing, Mr. Chairman. It has to do with a veterans event that's coming up. The Union County Freeholders will co-sponsor a special screening of Thank You for Your Service, an award-winning documentary that explores war trauma, including post-traumatic stress syndrome and policies surrounding our veterans. The movie will be shown on Wednesday, September 7th, beginning at 6:30 at the Hamilton Stage in Rawway, 360 Hamilton Street. This documentary succeeds in calling attention to the mental issues that many of our veterans face upon returning from war, as well as calling for a new approach to these problems. It's a film all Americans should see to get an understanding what our veterans are going through and begin a dialogue on what we can all do to help. The film is being presented as part of Chairman Bergen's Union County Hero Initiative for 2016. which assists our veterans. Following the screening, there will be a panel discussion involving the film's directors, Lieutenant Steve Brozak, Jana Williams, and Richard Thompson, who are both veterans and county government employees. The admission to this program is free. However, those who are wishing to make a donation, a suggested donation will be $3. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'll conclude my comments.
Thank you, Freeholder. Vice Chairman Granados.
No comments. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. County Council?
No comments, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
County Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have a comment. Actually, I'd like to thank the individuals from the biking community who came today and expressed their opinions. As Freeholder Chairman Bergen mentioned, we are working on a master plan to permit biking and bike trails in some portion of the reservation. But it has to be done with safety in mind. Safety is paramount to all the parks activities we do, and we have over 20,000 people who utilize Watch Young Reservation on a regular basis. We have walkers, we have hikers, we have cyclists, we have mountain bikelists, we have equestrians, and many, many other individuals. So all of those factors have to be taken into consideration, as well as cost, as well as liability, and the other maintenance type issues that we have. We are going to be dealing with all of those. We look forward to working with that community to come up with a solution that works for everybody. Just one other note, there was an individual who came who does volunteer. We call it our chain gang, to help us when we have major storms to clear out some of our trails, and we'd like to thank them and our Adopt a Park folks for all the work that they do throughout the year. And yes, we will need to have volunteers and individuals if we're going to take on this additional component, and look forward to working with all the members of the community. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, County Manager. I actually had a couple items I was going to address, but I think I've done enough speaking tonight, so I'll just call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned.